No score, and Steve Gelbs is standing by with the new coach of the UConn Huskies. Steve?
Thanks a lot, Gary. Here with Dan Hurley. Threw out the first pitch, did a nice job with that. But congratulations, first of all, on the job with UConn. You've got this reputation, Dan, for turning around programs. You did it at URI, you did it at Wagner. This is a step up in terms of high profile. Have you sensed, even in the last couple of months, just the difference, just walking around and interacting with UConn fans?
Yeah, I mean, the bigness of it all. And, for me, I've done this a couple times, so I've got the same plan in terms of how to rebuild the organization and, get it from, bottom of the league to championship level. But, probably hits home a little bit when you're going into recruiting dinners, where in Rhode Island I could kind of do it a little bit anonymously, but it seemed like I'm stopping and taking selfies at just about every table in Hartford. So I know what it is. When you see those 4 banners every day when you walk into the practice facility, you understand it.
Dan, what is that plan? How have you been able to rebuild, and how do you plan to do that here at UConn?
Yeah, I think it all starts with the returning players, building those relationships, developing that trust so that I could coach them at the intensity level that us Hurleys like to do it at. And, obviously in year one, you want to try to be, the hardest playing team in the country, become a real good defensive team, become a well-connected team, because those are the things you can control. But UConn is UConn, and the expectations there are exactly what you're looking for. And probably the one thing you've said to the players more than anything is, hey, fellas, this is UConn. We got to get this thing turned around quickly.
Dan, you mentioned us Hurleys, and for those who don't know, I think a lot of people do, but your father, Hall of Famer, legendary high school coach in New Jersey at St. Anthony's, as Stephen Matz strikes out right there. He's known, and always has been known, as this really old school guy, fair with his players, but tough. In this new age, with different mentalities of players, how do you kind of blur those lines of taking what your father taught you, but also taking it now into this new type of player?
Well, the interesting thing about my dad was that he evolved and adapted over the years. He still had the highest standards and a tremendous amount of discipline with his teams. But he also, he's smart enough to change the way he communicated over time with the players. He certainly yelled at me a lot more than he did the guys 10 years ago. He's a little bit more understanding. And for me, I try to have the same old school values that my dad taught, and the P.J. Carlissimos and the great coaches I played for. But in the end, it's all about relationships. If these kids believe that you love them and care about them and that you want the best for them, they'll allow you to coach them hard and get the best out of them every day, even if it gets a little intense.
Well, that being said, I think we talk about this, across all sports. It's the same with, again, this new generation of player. Do you think too much is made of that, though? Do you think that the player is still the player, and if you are open with them and honest...
Is that a homer?
No, it's a foul ball.
Oops.
But if you're open with them, if you're honest and you go about things the right way, do you think you can still be somewhat, hard on them if that calls for it?
Yeah, I think any athlete that's worth their salt wants to be in an environment where they feel like they're just going to get better. I think they want to play for coaches. They're going to extract the best out of them. Whether it's your head coach, your position coach, your strength and conditioning coach. I think the number one thing is just being in an environment where you feel like you're getting better, where the coach is committed. He's there every day. He's in the gym with you, challenging you. And, that's what we've always tried to create there in my programs at the University of Rhode Island, where I was probably as tough and demanding on my players as any coach in college basketball. We had one transfer in 4 years. So I think in the end, kids want to be in places where they're going to grow and get better.
Dan, great stuff. Congratulations. I know you've got a crazy day, so we'll let you go right now, but good luck on the upcoming season.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. And I have no doubt that Dan will be enormously successful at UConn. The Hurleys do not fail. Here's Jose Bautista. I mean, not just his dad, but obviously his brother Bobby, great player at Duke and in the NBA, and then moved on to coaching himself more recently and did a great job at Arizona State this last year.